Y'all officially an incinerator. Welcome to Incense and Common Sense, the live streams that we do here on the Alert Zone TV. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. I would love for you guys and girls to become active citizens of the Alert Zone TV. Y'all already know how to do that. So, excuse me. I give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. I look kind of droopy, but I'm wide awake, everybody. I guess the camera just showing me. Okay. Like that. You guys know I film most of the time on my tablet, and I like this old nostalgic look. So give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. I hope everybody's having a good, safe night wherever you are. Worldwide movement, definitely. As you come in, make sure you hit the likes button to help me out with the algorithm. You guys and girls know how YouTube is. For those of us who don't pay for views, pay YouTube or however this thing go, so we give y'all a couple minutes to get up in here. I think we're gonna have a dope discussion tonight. I'm gonna try now. Well, all right, we got pause and play. What's going on? We're gonna have a dope discussion tonight. I'm gonna try not to go overboard, but we're gonna have we're gonna definitely. All right, we got the seconds count. All right, we got seconds count in the building. Make sure you guys and girls hit the likes button as you come in here. Like I said, give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. As you guys can see, I got my jacket on tonight. It's not for a prop. It's kind of chilly outside right now. The weather's changing. Maybe tomorrow or this weekend, I'm gonna try and go outside and do another video out in the woods. I keep saying I'm gonna learn how to work this head-mounted camera, and I just have not made the time. It is not nobody but me, everybody. So I appreciate y'all bearing with me. Definitely. While we waiting on the 5 minute mark, for those of you who new here, I give everybody a couple minutes. Make sure you find you a gun tuber that you like and you support him or her. That's definitely the thing. And make sure you hit the likes buttons as you come in here. Excuse me. Sorry about that, everybody. Forgive me. Damn devil roll. I'm sorry, everybody. Forgive me. Let me get back to the real thing. But like I said, I wanted to say, find you a gun tuber or gun tubers that you like. Make sure you view the material. That's the least that we ask for the content creators. For those of us who have our merchandise and products for sale, we love for you guys and girls to support us because that helps the channel. That helps the channel grow. As you know, a lot of us that do GunTube, we don't get sponsorships hardly like that. So we definitely appreciate you and would love for you. And I'm speaking for GunTube, period. If you guys and girls would do that. And thank you to everybody that does support. Manu, what's going on, man? I can't call it. Just go have this discussion, man. At the 5 minute mark, I'll start my diatribe, or I'll start my introduction, and then we'll go into just a discussion about a couple things, man. Because I think this is very relevant. You guys and girls got to forgive me, because I haven't set up technically like how to bring up news stories and things like that where you guys and girls can see it and what have you. I'm still working through that. All right, we're at the 5 minute mark. Let's get it. When I started High Alert TV, which was my first YouTube channel, I said that I was gonna be the channel that had a two-way discussion that I noticed wasn't really talked about. And I think partially because it's something people don't like to get into. Um, Politics, the racial component to the two-way community, to the two-way rights and things. I decided on my other channel I was going to take the slings and arrows and have a discussion. You guys and girls know my other channel got terminated because I didn't know I didn't properly say that the bullfight videos was not for kids, and I guess some children seen it and I got reported and they closed my channel. Then I started the Alert Zone TV with the same mission. I was going to show you guys how the Second Amendment, politics, and race intersect each other. Whether you want to talk about it or not, whether you like it or not. For you guys and girls that's new to this channel, or that's new to what we do here, let me say this. You guys and girls don't have no idea of some of the things that's been said to me online and offline by people I know, people that's close to me. All right, we got Philly in the house. Walt Whitman Bridge, the cheesesteaks under the bridge. Right there up under that Walt Whitman Bridge, them Philly cheesesteaks. Every time I go to Philly, my oldest son asks me to bring cheesesteaks to him. Back to what I was saying. This is the nutritious channel. This is the Brussels sprouts and cauliflower channel. We don't always shoot guns. We don't always review products here. But I said I was going to go ahead and take the slings and arrows in. I've had some pretty nasty things said to me. I've been accused of things that was not true, but I take it. I understand something. The Second Amendment has an asterisk next to it for black people. In my time on this planet, for those of you who don't know, I'm originally born in New Orleans, Louisiana, uptown, raised. It was nothing for me to have run-ins with law enforcement. You didn't have to be doing nothing. All you had to do was be outside, and they would stop you, all that other good stuff. As I got legally armed and I started being stopped by law enforcement, I had several officers put guns in my face because I told them I had a gun. I had officers look me in my face and tell me they don't feel comfortable with black folk having guns. I had officers tell me they don't feel comfortable with no law-abiding citizen having firearms. That's what they're there for. I'm one of the few people who said, I respect the Derek Chauvin type of cop. I don't like what he did, but I respect that type of cop in a sense of when we get stopped on the side of the road, those not the guys that's going to have you on the side of the road for 30 minutes on a fishing expedition where they can go through all this other nonsense and then get the dog out there and have a reason to sniff your car. The Derek Chauvin type, the road cop in the department, because every police department on this planet has one road cop at least. All of them. I don't care how small they are. If it's two people on the force, one of them is road. Those are the guys and girls, when they stop you, they don't play all these word salad games. They tell you, look, we the dope police, we looking for dope. We're going to search you. We don't find them, we let you go about your business. You got the ones that pull you over for a tail light, and the next thing you know, you got anything illegal in the car, you mind if I take a look at it? If you tell them no, or, you're detained, I'm going to call the dogs out. All that other craziness. But for those of you who don't know, shout out to my cousin for sending me this story this morning. Also, I want to shout out a regular gun guy. Him and Zach. I want to shout them out. I stopped by his channel earlier and they had this discussion and I was on there for a minute. I was at the gym on the exercise bike. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to stay in shape. Nevertheless, we had this discussion. And what I liked about the discussion is we had a bunch of different opinions, which is good, but no words was minced. Y'all go and check that live stream out. Like I said, he showed the actual story for those of you who don't know. In particular, there was a man and a woman in two separate incidents. One was a cheesecake restaurant owner, the other one was into real estate. They were stopped by Chicago police for whatever reason. They alerted law enforcement that they had firearms and they wind up in handcuffs being charged with felonies. My understanding is this FOIA card thing. They try to say that it wasn't in the system even though they had valid cards or what have you. And instead of letting them go, they decided to arrest them, have them arrested for felonies and what have you. Even though the law says that if there's a situation like this, the officer is supposed to let the person go. Nevertheless, this guy and this girl was arrested, fingerprinted, mugshot, all the whole 9 yards. And they had to go through a whole lot to get the charges dropped. And now they had to go through a whole lot to get this expunged off their record. The mere fact that they was arrested for felony. I watched the video. People have mixed emotions. No. I'm gonna be honest. I know you said Trump America. I'm 46. We was going through this under Bill Clinton. Sorry to tell you. Let me just go ahead and throw this out here. Let me answer that question real quick. Let me answer that comment. I really want everybody to say how they feel. Just be respectful. Believe it or not, we suffer more under Democrats than we do Republicans. New Orleans has been a Democrat city as long as I can remember. And it was nothing for NOPD to bust our fucking heads open. Long as I was living, we've never had a Republican mayor in the city of New Orleans. The Democrats have always ran the city of New Orleans. But nevertheless, some of the most harshest treatments happen under Democrats. For everybody who like to cry about these Democrat-run cities, shit. You think that these cops in these red areas is bad, these red cities. You go to these blue cities and they 10 times fucking worse. Nevertheless. Oh yeah, by the way, this is Chicago. Liberal Chicago and liberal Illinois. So I want you to keep that in mind. But this guy and girl was arrested. And I'm going to toot my own horn. I don't care what nobody say. I'm tooting my own horn. I've been screaming about this already for a couple years on YouTube. And I've taken all the negative comments and the negative things that was said about me because I decided to talk about this. I tell you guys and girls, if you here new to this channel, go back. We got over 900 wonderful videos here. Go back to my encounters with law enforcement where I always tell you, there's an asterisk next to our 2A. There's an asterisk next to my Second Amendment rights. On paper, I have the same rights as every other person who passes the background check. In practice, I don't have the same rights, and I know that. Which is why I'm extra cautious around law enforcement when I'm stopped. The mere fact that I have a firearm can get me killed. They don't need a firearm to kill me, but I understand how much that this is enhances the probability of something happening. So under those circumstances, yes, I've said it and I'll continue to say it. There's a divide in the 2A community, whether people like it or not. There's an asterisk. It's not there. It's an unwritten rule, but it's there. I told you guys and girls how there's certain guns I would never carry in New Orleans. Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Seconds Count, for even bringing that up. I know when I first brought it up, especially on my first channel, man, the comment section people would dog me out, man. Some of the things people accuse me of, it was just unreal. And all I did was point out something because the one thing I understood, I couldn't be the only person that this happened to. My luck can't be that fucking bad that I can be pulled over. I can let an officer know I got a firearm on me. It's legal, and the next thing I can have 7 or 8 guns pointed at my face. I can literally physically be snatched out of my car and be told if I even sneeze, I'm gonna get my fucking head blowed off. I can remember being cussed out, literally. I had an officer so angry to the point he wanted to shoot me after he had to give me my gun back. He was that pissed off that my gun was legal and registered to me because he said in his mind there is no such thing as a legally armed black person. It infuriated him. And I know he's not the only one. People told me I was exaggerating here on this channel. I don't know what I'm talking about. I won't bring things up unless I can prove it. When this live stream is over, I want you guys and girls to go, if you haven't seen the video, just sit down and listen to it and just watch it. Don't read no comments before you watch the video. Watch the video. It's made its rounds on YouTube. Now, according to the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, they don't have a database to keep up how disproportionate this is. I'm not going to say there's non-black people that haven't experienced this. But what I'm going to tell you is we get the brunt of that treatment. Because if white folks got the brunt of that treatment, it would have been stopped a long time ago. The law says the officer, if the person gives their FOIA card, even if there's a problem with the system, it's valid. Don't arrest them, let them go. And they arrested them anyway. At the end of the day, what really angers me about that is they arrested these two people, law-abiding citizens. And when these two people sue the city, it's going to be the taxpayers that's going to have to foot the bill. These officers are not going to go to jail for that. I know people may bring up the fact that the officers were black, I believe. Looked like I saw a Hispanic woman involved and a white person. I don't know. It doesn't matter the color of the officer. The fact is, when it comes to black people being legally armed, I have begged you guys and girls ad nauseum. I have begged and pleaded. And I've even had to give these fucking disclaimers that I shouldn't have to give. That on the side of the road is not where you argue with these guys and girls because you don't know who's stopping you and you don't know what their intentions is. I would love to be able to enjoy my Second Amendment rights like everybody else. I would love to get stopped and not have to worry about, once I let this officer or officers know I got this gun in this car, am I going to be shot? I would love to not have to worry about that. But it's not reality. And because I chose to talk about it, I took slings and arrows, and now the video's starting to come out. Now the conversation's starting. We never gonna fix this problem until we admit it exists. I really appreciate everybody that's tuning into this. I appreciate everybody who have differences of opinions with me that'll just listen to me. Because you know what? We may not agree. You may give me some interesting points that I didn't think about. I'm not above being corrected, and I'm not above learning. But what I'm telling you is we got to have a genuine conversation. We can't act like this stuff don't happen because now it's on video. And they said that they don't keep up with the statistics, but they do. They just decided not to publish them because they understand what the disparities would be. You guys know I live in Iowa. I've talked to several people. I know several people that we talk about firearms, and I've asked them, when you get stopped by law enforcement, do they ever unload your firearm before they give it back to you? And they've all told me no. I told them, man, they always take my gun from me. What's going on, Brooke? I can't call it. Just sitting here having this discussion. They've always taken my firearm from me, unloaded it, ran it, and then separated the bullets, the mag, and the gun. I've had most of them tell me they don't feel comfortable with me being legally armed around them. I told you guys and girls here on this very channel, everybody that backs the badge or everybody that's behind the badge, everybody in law enforcement don't support the Second Amendment. Some people don't like the racial lines, and some people just think none of us should have it. The topic is about the two black folks that was arrested in Illinois for being legally armed, and all the hoops that they had to jump through. Basically something that I had been bringing up on this channel for a while. If you're new here, go to my archives. I've told you guys and girls ad nauseum. There's an asterisk next to the Second Amendment when it comes to certain people. I know my Second Amendment rights is not as open in practice as other people's are. And now we have the video to prove this. And it was on body camera. Now, the only thing I'm not sure is if this happened today or if this happened, well, I'm pretty sure this happened. I don't know if it happened this year or last year, but the body cam footage has come out. And it showed this man, a business owner, own a cheesecake store, and the woman, being a real estate agent, do nothing but comply, let them know they had a firearm, they was licensed, they had their Ford card, and they still wind up in jail. I'm glad they didn't freak out to the point where they got beat up, they got shot. Nevertheless, their lives were interrupted. They have mugshots now. The guy said he was on his way to a potential new customer that he lost out on because he got arrested. The woman said that she's a real estate agent. She could have lost her license. They dropped the charges, but the mere fact that when you look at properties that's in her name, her mugshot comes up now. So people may not want to do business with her as an agent because they feel like she's a criminal. And she has to explain to them they dropped the charges because she didn't do nothing wrong. Let me make something clear to everybody. Philando Castile could have been any black person on this planet, in this country. A law-abiding gun owner that lost his life. You know, I've done stories about firearms and how firearms are enforced, how just different things when it comes to firearms. And I've talked about how when it comes to black folks and firearms, we're automatically criminalized. We don't go together with legally owned firearms. That's not the image that's put out there. When we accused of a crime, if there's a picture of us with a gun, that it'll plaster it all over the news and say, you see, he's a criminal. I just got to keep it real. When white folks do crimes, they won't plaster a picture of them with a gun, and if they do, they'll say, "Oh, well, they was just hunting." I just want people to understand something. Some of these conversations might be very uncomfortable. Some of these conversations you might not want to have. But understand something. They're not falling out of the sky. I know a lot of y'all feel like we make things up. Black folk. We just exaggerate. We playing the victim all the time. We cry about things that don't go on, and then the videos start coming out. And then they keep coming out. And we start saying, well, if what we're saying is not true, why does this keep happening? Why? If what we're saying is not true. I just thought I would talk about this, like I said, publicly, because I've been tooting the horn about this already for a couple years. And I've just seen it. And I know what it is. I know what it's like. I don't like certain things, but I know what it's like. Like I told the story of a friend of mine, Liberian, We was on our way to Ames one day, and we got stopped by two sheriffs in a pickup truck on Highway 30. We was out by the cornfields. There was nothing in sight. I had a pistol on me. It was legally owned, but I had a pistol on me. I decided not to say nothing if they didn't show that they were going to check us because of where we were. And I knew that situation could have went bad real quick. So I decided if they're not going to make us get out, if they're not going to ask us about guns, I'm not going to volunteer because I didn't like what we got stopped at. For the most part, I usually let law enforcement know I have something on me, and I kind of understand how it's going to go. I'm expecting once I let a cop know that I have a illegally owned firearm on me, I'm kind of expecting they're going to make me get out the car. I know some places, that's the protocol, that's the law. Once you let them know that you have a firearm, they will make you get out. I'm expecting that. I'm mentally prepared for that. I'm going to have to get out. They're going to pat me down. They're going to say it's just for their safety, but they're going to start patting me down and see if they can find any kind of drug. They're going to do their little police thing. We can get it over with. Oh, what's going on, Carl? I can't call it. Just sitting here having this conversation. And now we got the video to prove it. You guys and girls know I talked about, I can't remember his name. I never remember his name. In Jacksonville. That got stopped. He let the officer know. The officer said he ran the light. He said, well, I don't think it was yellow when I went. The officer said, I said it was red. And he said, okay. He let his officer know that he was legally armed. And the female officer tried to disarm him in a constitutional carry state, and she fucking shot him in his leg. Thank goodness the initial officer got a tourniquet out, and they didn't let this man bleed to death. But the mere fact that in a country where having a firearm is legal, you still have to worry about being killed. For being legally armed. That's a conversation that needs to be had. Because I want you guys and girls to understand something. The conversation of a black man, a black woman with a gun is still not. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We still, as a country, this country still hasn't gotten comfortable with seeing us being legally armed. A regular gun guy, shout out to that guy, man. Y'all all support him. Make sure y'all stop by. He talked about this, about a regular meetup. And he said, why we just can't be seen as a 2A event? Why they have to always label our event as the black event? Look. This is a worldwide movement. Period, point blank. But I'm not foolish enough to say that race don't exist. I know people say it's a social construct and stuff like that, but you know what? It's a part of the world. It's a part of the world discussion. It's a part of how a lot of people treat people and how a lot of people get treated. You can say you don't see color. I'm going to tell you this. You can say what you want, it's there. And the world moves on it. Period, point blank. So, with that being said, when I get out here and I talk about the Second Amendment, specifically from my and people that's close to me experiences, I can tell you guys. That's why I can tell you on the side of the road ain't the place to argue with these people. This is why I can tell you, if you get stopped by law enforcement, what the protocol is going to be. Yeah, I appreciate you for always supporting me, man. It's a taboo. And like I said, at the beginning of this video, I take the slings and arrows for this conversation. There's probably going to be some people on and offline that's going to have some nasty stuff to say to me, but I'm going to take it. At the end of the day, my goal is this. As legally armed citizens here in America, if you get stopped on the side of the road, my goal is to get you home safely. This brother and this sister alerted law enforcement that they had their firearms and they had their FOIA cards and all this stuff because they wanted to make it home safe. They complied. They didn't fight. The female said that she thought it was ridiculous and that she had the email showing that she had already been approved, but they was backlogged or what have you, and they took her to jail. They didn't put up a physical fight at the end of the day. They went ahead on and let them do their police thing. Here's the problem. What if when they go to grab you and you tense up and say, wait, and you pull back? Do you understand that's resisting arrest? Do you understand right then and there, once you pull back, most officers are trained to go from 0 to 1,000,000? And something like that can escalate into a death. And what they'll say is you had a gun or they thought you was reaching for something. I told you guys and girls, let me go ahead on and give this. I said I was going to do it in a separate video, but I do it tonight. Stop resisting. Give me your hand. It's code word for kick his ass. I smell weed. It's code word for we're going to search your vehicle. Stop reaching my gun is code word for kill this motherfucker. Period, point blank. Unfortunately, that this happened to these people. But the thing I'm happy about is they stayed calm. You guys and girls saw the video. If you haven't heard about the... All right, we got Jason in the house. We saw the video about the former Arizona Cardinals player and his daughter being stopped by law enforcement at the airport and being put out on the car and, guns pointed at him and what have you. Say his car master just murdered suspect. And the suspect turned out to be white, of course. But nevertheless, all right, we got Dr. T in the building. Nevertheless, he kept his calm. And he understood that, nothing much, just sitting here having this conversation that we had every year. Yeah, okay. And, this asterisk that exists on the Second Amendment is an unfortunate asterisk, but it's there. When I tell you guys and girls on the side of the road ain't where you take your chances, because you can't win. I know a regular gun guy reached out to the male that was arrested for the 2A violation, and the guy hadn't responded yet, maybe because he tied up in litigation. I just want to say this to everybody. And I want everybody to understand this. Because what I'm about to say is going to transcend race. When you get stopped on the side of the road and you got your firearm with you, I'll always want you guys and girls to think and be strategic and survive that encounter. If that means, as we say, biting your tongue, you may have to. I've had to do it. But I'm sitting here having this conversation with y'all. Sometimes you're going to have to live and let live. I don't want to see a law-abiding citizen on the side of the road dead. I don't want to see that. I don't care what color you are. I don't want to see that happen to nobody. Once again, like I said, for you guys and girls, I would love for y'all to check out A Regular Gun Guy. They had this conversation earlier. Like I said, my cousin showed me this. This video is making the rounds and it's bringing the conversation up. And it's bringing up a conversation that I've been having openly for a couple years now. I think as this story and as this particular conversation gains steam, maybe some of those people will come back and apologize to me, or some of those people will open their mind. When we have discussions here, that's why I tell you, this is the nutritious channel. This is where you come to get your fruits and vegetables. You don't come here necessarily to see guns and just see me out shooting and having fun. Sometimes we come and we have to have these political, racial / legal discussions, because there's more to owning a firearm than you go and get your concealed carry permit like these people and they FOIA card and still going to jail. The one good thing that I will give them is that they survived this encounter, that they took their safety in mind. They let these people go ahead on. Once they said I have everything, and they still wind up taking them, they went ahead on and did what they had to do and got it over with. And they're able to live, and they can have a discussion about this. That's the number one thing. That's why I tell you all the time in my encounters with law enforcement. Just like they don't know what your intentions are, you don't know theirs. Yeah, you just don't know, man. Look, humans are emotional creatures. We have emotions. Um, all of us, at least once, has probably brought our home problems to our job. Well, what happens when the officer that pulls you over is having a hard time at home in their personal life and they bring that to work? That can cost you your life. That's why we have these discussions. That's why I say shout out to everybody, because it's a worldwide movement. Because you know what? The 2A part may not necessarily be the story for everybody worldwide, because some countries, most countries don't have Second Amendment rights. But every country and every police department on this planet got one rogue cop at least. They got one cop that always try to circumvent the rules no matter what. Under Illinois law, these guys shouldn't have never even been to jail. And just the mere fact that they got arrested and fingerprinted and all that, when they sue the city, the officers are not going to be sued for that. They're not going to pay anything. The citizens going to have to pay that. The taxpayers. The city of Chicago just shelled out $90-something million. All right, we got well-dressed tactical in the house. The city of Chicago just shelled out $90 million to put up to go towards the victims of that one particular cop that they gave them 2 years to, that had put so many people in jail for so many years, planting drugs and things on them. That ain't coming out of his pocket. The taxpayer's gonna foot that bill. Told you guys and girls the story of Michael Craig. I mean, we can be here till next year having these kind of conversations and pointing that out. But at the end of the day, when I talk about this and dealing with law enforcement, I always tell you, I'm not anti-law enforcement. I'm pro-justice. That's two different things. I'm for officers that believe in doing their job the way that they're supposed to do it. I'm not for officers that believe in breaking the rules, period, point blank. And to me, if these officers didn't know that they were supposed to let these people go, they should be fired. They should be fired and off the job, because they're a liability. I've told you guys and girls for a long time, man, dealing with law enforcement in New Orleans, it was something coming up. It was something coming up. And you never wanted to be on the receiving end of a damn bullet. So you did what you had to do to survive. I just hope us having these discussions here will at least open people's mind to do their own research. If you don't want to hear what somebody else got to say, you want to do your own research, do your research. Go back and look at this conversation. Pull the numbers up. See if you can get an accurate description of this particular thing. But yeah, like I said, it's not that we're the only ones this happened to. I'm not naive enough to believe that. I just know disproportionately it happens to us. Because everybody knows, really and truly, when it comes to law enforcement, there's not really a punishment for victimizing black folk. It's just not. Something heinous, yeah, but for the most part, railroading us into prison, you got to railroad a lot of us for you to have to actually face a judge and face prison time or what have you. But I'm not gonna hold you guys and girls because I gotta get up early in the morning. I just wanted to have this discussion. I wanted to put this on everybody's mind. This is a worldwide movement. On the side of the road ain't where you deal with law enforcement. It's not where you fight them. Get to wherever you gotta get and you fight them from there, but you don't ever do it on the side of the road. And to everybody in America that's new to firearms, if you haven't even bought a firearm yet, I want you to think about this. Make sure you know the law. Make sure you keep your concealed carry permit, FOID card, whatever you got. Keep it with you and try your best to make sure that it is always up to date and that this don't happen to you. Because a technicality costs two people possibly valuable things from their lives that can't be replaced. Their sense of security is gone. That they followed the rules and they still went to jail. So you don't get that sense of security back. I want you guys and girls to always remember that. I'm going to say it very, very bluntly, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. When you are a black firearm owner, you have a asterisk. Okay. You be safe out there. You have an asterisk next to your Second Amendment rights. You can be a fool and believe different, but you do. And stories like this is why. Because let's be honest. 9 times out of 10, if that was two law-abiding white citizens that happened to, they would have probably told them, well, we're going to have to do an update or whatever, but they would have let them go. Under the law, they were supposed to let them go, and they locked them up anyway. And they didn't take none of these cops to jail for locking these people up. So this is not a rant against law enforcement. This is just a reminder. When we talk here in the Alert Zone about making sure you know the laws and give you guys and girls a how do I feel about Glock canceling their guns? Give me 1 second. Like I was saying about, we give you guys and girls a guideline, a digital pamphlet to follow. If you'll follow what you hear here, when it comes to your 2A experiences, they're going to be off the meat racket. Now, as far as this Glock thing, shout out to my boy Eyes and Ears Tactical. He's a Glocky. I know why they're doing this. This is all behind them switches. For those of you who don't know, since these switches got real popular, Glock has stayed tied up in lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. And I believe it's a business decision for them to say what's out there is out there. We're going to have to redesign these pistols where they don't get these switches in it. Glock is the most popular handgun brand in America. It's the #1 brand the rappers talk about. For those of you who don't live in America, you don't understand the influence rap music has on American culture. So Glock, amongst law enforcement, already was a thing. In the early 90s, when the rappers started rapping about them, that was it. Glock took off, and it ain't never looked back. That's my opinion. I believe that they're going to redesign these guns behind the switch incident. I'm not a Glocky, so, one way or another, I'm not going to have a fit about it. This is going to be the time for me to mess with the Glockies. The reason I call them Glockies, they like junkies. They don't buy nothing but Glock, and they just like junkies. Like I said, fuck. With the exception of the lint, all Glocks look alike. There's nothing different unless you go to aftermarket and do this and do that. Every fucking Glock look alike. You guys know about that Glock knuckle and all that? Nah. So, we'll see. I'll tell you what. I'm going to do some more research about this. Probably go up into the financial sector, what have you, and see if I can figure out who was behind this move to basically stop making Glocks Gen 3 through 5, is my understanding, and revamping them. I'm pretty sure it's about this whole switch thing and Glock tied of the litigation. So, Also, with that being said, everybody, make sure you hit the like button when you come in here, subscribe and all that. I appreciate you guys and girls for tuning in. Um, Hit me in the comment section and let me know, have you ever had any issues? Do you agree or do you disagree? Maybe later this week, depending on the amount of views I get on this, we might do a part two. We might do a part two. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm not going to hold you guys and girls up too much longer. I want y'all to be safe out there. I want you guys and girls to always remember one thing. Survive the encounter. On the side of the road is not when you argue with these people. Even if there's an issue with their system, get to the jailhouse and take it from there. Don't take it into your hands on the side of the road, because we want everybody to go home safe to their families. So with that being said, hit me in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Make sure you find you a gun tuber or gun tubers that you really love. Make sure you view their material. Give them a thumbs up. All that other good stuff. Make sure you guys out here legally armed. You know the law. And if you don't know the law, get with somebody that know the laws and learn them so that you know how to practice them properly. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert. We out.